On this Queen's Birthday public holiday. Hello everyone and welcome to a short and sharp edition of The Verdict. I'm Matt Thompson. Mark Fraser is the chairman of the match review panel. Mark, thanks for your time as always. And the big news that the whole footy world wants to hear is that Lance Franklin is in the clear for this alleged sling tackle. Talk us through it.
Yes, with this one you can see that Stewart grabs the ball and is tackled around the waist by Franklin. He's swung around and tackled to the ground, but he does not hit his head. He has both arms aren't pinned and he's able to brace for contact with that one arm. And whilst the action's not great, we believe the free kick was a good decision, and after speaking to the umpire who reported it, viewing all the angles and receiving the medical report from Port Adelaide, it was the panel's view that the force was not excessive in that tackle. The
medical report came back clear for Stewart, didn't it?
Yes.
And what about, I guess, the question that everyone's going to be asking at home? How close was it? How close was this to being a sling tackle that would lead to demerit points and potentially suspension?
Certainly that action is not looked upon kindly. So if that came up again in another match, we would be looking at that from our perspective. But it does depend on the level of force. So the level of force is really important in regards to the tackle, and obviously whether they hit their head on the ground. With the Stewart one, you can see that he's hit his shoulder, but not the head.
All right, so Lance Franklin in the clear and free to play against the Brisbane Lions this coming Sunday. Let's turn our attention to Essendon's Selwyn Davey, and this is a hefty suspension. 2 weeks is what he's been offered. If he chooses to fight it at the tribunal, it'll be a 3-week ban. This is, of course, a rough conduct charge for his hit on Daniel Hanbury of the Sydney Swans. And Mark, of course, Hanbury went off, didn't he, with concussion? Yes,
he did, and he was subbed out, so he didn't take any further part in the game. So, as you can see, Hanbury is receiving the ball and gets bumped by Davey to the head. Each player owes a duty of care to other players when you're doing a bumping action, not to get them high. So unfortunately, Davey's done that. And after viewing that footage and getting the medical report, we deemed that it was a negligent high contact.
All right, let's turn our attention now to Hayden Ballentine of the Fremantle Dockers. Often gets himself in the headlines, doesn't he, Hayden? He has been charged with striking. This, of course, was the elbow to Richmond skipper Chris Newman. Talk us through this, and of course, remembering that Ballentine has a loading.
Yes, with this one, as the ball's coming into the Fremantle forward line, Ballentine just takes that bit of a look sideways and then elbows Newman into the stomach. And we believe that this is an intentional low body strike.
All right, so it does stay though at the 1 week, even though he gets extra points and because of the 40% loading. The maths works out that it does stay at a 1 week ban.
Yes, it stays at a 1 week ban due to his previous poor record.
All right, let's turn our attention now to one final case, and this goes back to Friday night. It got a lot of airplay over the weekend because I guess it's fairly unusual. This is Josh Hunt from Geelong appearing to stomp on the hand of Eddie Betts. You've charged him with misconduct, but not the full degree of stomping. Do you want to talk us through that decision?
Yes, with this one, we had a similar one last year with a stand on the hand that we charged as a misconduct and a financial sanction. We believe this is similar to that. You see that Hunt is putting his foot down onto Betts' arm there, and we believe that whilst that's inappropriate and an act of misconduct, it's not sufficient enough to be a stomping charge. All
right, so it's an $1,800 fine. He can accept $1,350 with an early plea. But just to clarify for everyone, there is a category of misconduct which is stomping. That would have to be more serious than this, you believe, to constitute that charge and actually lead to a possible suspension?
Yes, we believe a stomping charge is a more forceful action, and we don't believe that Hunt is that.
All right, excellent. Mark Fraser, thank you so much for your time. As always, of course, a shorter weekend in terms of the number of matches, but a long weekend, so you might be put back into work tomorrow to review the Queen's Birthday clash between Melbourne and Collingwood. Any incidents out of that, as I say, will be looked at tomorrow. That is it for The Verdict today. We'll catch you soon.